All right, and we currently do not have a chair, so if it's okay with everybody, I'll just go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:30. We do have one new member currently on the, oh, maybe somebody else has come on. We've got a chat. Okay, hey, Dave. So Megan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, of course. Thanks, Gina. My name is Megan Forbes. I am faculty at the University of Florida, and in previous lives served on the mickopie Planning Historic Preservation Board, and I'm actively involved in Rotary clubs here in Gainesville. And I'm excited to join the board and looking forward to learning a lot from all of you.
Are you Jeffrey Forbes' wife?
I am indeed. Hi, Dorothy.
Hey, how are you doing? He's president.
Good.
The other people know of the Friends Pens Prairie. A wonderful president.
Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you so very much. And if Melissa and Benjamin join us, then we'll have them introduce themselves shortly. Because it's a workshop meeting, we're going to have to table the approval of the agenda, the minutes, the election of the chair and vice chair until our March meeting. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and scroll to our annual work plan. And I don't know if everybody had a chance to review it. Does anybody have any changes, corrections, additions? Not that we can vote on it. I'll move a formal motion until next month. But if somebody saw something that was like an error, we can certainly talk about that at this time. So the first things in the document are what's actually in our ordinance, or our resolution, so we really kind of can't change that. But as far as our accomplishments and goals, we can certainly, add, change, update. Hey, I don't know if y'all are being shy or what.
This is BJ. It looks good to me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I read through it. It looks fine.
Good.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I'm going to change the size just a hair, so hopefully it's not too terribly little, but you guys can see. So again, we can discuss these projects, and especially if you have any questions for the cities or the county, I can get back with them, and then in preparation for our March meeting, hopefully we'll have some responses for you. So did anybody have any questions, comments for Alachua County's report? And let me know when you're ready to scroll to the next page, because this one is actually a 2-pager.
Gina, this is BJ. It appears that the county, this is just Parks and Rec. Was there the lands group? Did they have a separate spreadsheet?
So I don't know
from Charlie.
So I don't know if you can see up here. So they kind of clumped everything.
Oh, they just did. Okay. Gotcha. And they at least, so they put LSF Paget. Okay. I guess clarification, I'd probably ask, is it just the Paget? That's just hard to understand what LSF-Paget. I know there's a Paget property, but wondering if it was, I thought there was more than just one purchase.
Okay.
I mean, if they have multiple purchases, a list of the property names that were acquired in the event that there's multiple that total $4 million, which I'm pretty sure there is.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll go ahead and get with them.
And then as you move on to the others, it looks like ABC Park was carried to every one of them.
Yes, it was just my generic, so they knew what type of information
gotcha. Okay.
I was looking for.
Okay.
So, and then also with the counties, especially for those of you who are new, we actually share a portion of our wild spaces with all 9 cities. And so you'll see on the bottom that we help pay for some of the Archer Splash Pad, some of the Gainesville Hogtown Creek Nature Center, and some of the La Crosse 49th Terrace Walking Trail. So the county is the only one where you will see like mutual government aid to our sister cities.
Is there a percentage that they give to them for the amount that we received?
So no, it's actually 3 million exclusively to the city of Gainesville, plus an additional 3 million that all 9 cities, so including Gainesville. So they actually got more than 3 million. Off the top of my head, I can't tell you how much it is, but I can get that information for you. And it was just for a variety of partnership projects, and that we will fund. For example, if they give me a $100 invoice, the county will reimburse them 50%, so $50.
Okay.
So it's a true, dollar for dollar match. The city of Alachua, they actually bonded their money to finish Legacy Park. So you're not going to see any expenses from them for the balance of the 8 years of the surtax, because they spent all of their money and now they're just, repaying it as they receive funding come in. So this is something that you're going to see moving forward from them.
Is the Tuscola project in the county, or is it?
Yeah.
It's not near enough to be in Micanopy.
So it actually is very, very close to Micanopy, but it's not within the city limits, but the county purchased it. So it's a county project.
Yeah, they're spending a whole lot of money there.
Yes, sir, we sure are. Yeah, so that's up here.
Oh, it is up there. I missed that. Yeah.
Gina, could you clarify for me? I'm sorry, because I'm new. So the amount that the county shows providing to the other cities does not need to be exactly like 50%. That doesn't need to be reflected in the city's report because it's not equaling up.
So it depends on when they sent us the invoice. So for example, like with the city of Alachua's project, that they spent all of their money right away, but by the time they send me an invoice, it could be the following fiscal year. So you'll see our report a year in arrears, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
That makes total sense. Thanks.
Mhm. All right, so moving on, I assume nobody has any questions for Alachua. Again, all their money is being gobbled up. The city of Archer, this is for their splash park. Any questions on that one?
Nope.
The city of Gainesville, and I believe Betsy's on the line, they requested a 1-month extension, and I emailed her earlier today and asked, and she's hoping to get it to us very, very soon. So as soon as I get the report, I'll share it with you so that you'll have plenty of time to look at it for our March 21st meeting.
Hi, Gina. This is Betsy, and hi, group. Yeah, that is correct. So the city of Gainesville has a new financial platform we went to in 2021. So we're just trying to reconcile 2 platforms, and it's taking us a long time, but we will have that to you soon.
The next up is the city of Hawthorne. And so you can see that they've got some construction going on and restrooms.
Do I understand that? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Do I understand that all of the money was spent on the Hawthorne Athletic Park? Is that correct?
Yes.
And that totals what, about $250,000 or something?
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let's see, 250-ish. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I do have a question about this one. It looks like there's 2 final bills for the public restroom for the renovation.
Yeah. Maybe the girls and the boys.
Okay,
I will
yeah, it just
certainly
seems like it's the
ask
same
that.
project.
Yeah,
Final bill for restroom. I will ask them that question.
yeah, that
Thank
is 47,000.
And Mr. Fox, welcome. Did you want to take a moment to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Benjamin Fox. I work for Santa Fe College Police Department, and just recently started getting more involved in local politics and government oversight. So it's something I find interesting. I'm not sure what else I should say, but my son turns 1 soon, so that's pretty exciting.
This is exciting. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the group. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
All righty, so next up we have the City of High Springs. So they've got some the playground at their sports complex, and then bat houses and some tree trimming at their memorial park. Moving on to La Crosse, they're continuing to work on their 49th Terrace Trail. And one of the things that I just wanted to mention with La Crosse, so they're our smallest city, and it's going to take them all 8 years to get enough money to finish the project. So you'll see these very small dollar amounts, and it's just because they're trying to work on the project, but they don't get a whole lot every single year.
Is this
So
a
just
bike
put that
trail?
on every. So I don't know that it's a bike trail. It's definitely a walking trail, but it might be paved so that it's for biking as well. I'm not really sure. I can ask them that.
Yeah.
All right, I will ask and let you know. Okay, moving on to Mickopie. They've got playground project. So they did the mulch and the border and the swings and the basketball court and survey work. So any questions for Mickopie?
So what's that total there? About 50,000?
17, 18. So I would say about 18-ish, 19-ish thousand.
Not that 30,000 at the top there for playground equipment?
No, that's just my generic that I put at the top of all of their reports so that they knew what kind of information to include.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's just ABC Park, it's just a generic.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. City of Newberry. See, they had some installation of some AV equipment in their municipal building. That's their rental hall, like where you can have public receptions and that type of thing. And they also restored the woodwork on the walls. At Jimmy Durden Park, they installed volleyball and they renovated their baseball fields. And then again, let's see, their multi-purpose field. I know if I heard it, I'd be like, yes, I know, but I can't remember what that acronym is.
Those are expensive beach volleyball courts. How many are there?
We'll ask. All right.
Okay.
And then Waldo had no expenses for this reporting period. So going back to our agenda. I guess we're at the public comment portion. So does anybody from the public have anything that they'd like to share with the group? I guess the one thing I would like to share is that if you didn't know, we're asking the board to consider renewing Wild Spaces Public Places for 10 years and then adding an additional half-cent for housing and infrastructure. One of the questions I have for the board, if they wanted to expand your duties and responsibilities to include reviewing housing and infrastructure expenses. So I will keep you posted. That meeting is on March 1st, and that's the question. So do they want to create a different citizen oversight board? Or, because you guys are doing such an amazing job, expand your duties to not only look at wild spaces purchases, but then also add housing and infrastructure.
What's the pros and cons there, Gina?
So it's an additional 10-year tax. I think the reports would look very similar to what we're doing, but we would probably have some additional sections, you know, that these are the housing expenses, and then you would look at it and say, I think this looks kind of weird, or, you know, not right. And then there would be another section for the infrastructure, you know, hey, that looks like, I don't know, operating expenses, not like road repair, whatever. So does anybody have any immediate thoughts or concerns? Because I don't mind telling the board, hey, I brought it up at this meeting and they were okay with it, or you guys were like, I don't know.
Are the monies going to be divided up so that they don't take money from public places and wild spaces and move it
So
over?
understanding is it would be half cent for wild spaces, public places, and then the other half cent could be used for housing and or infrastructure. So any combination.
Okay, that's good.
I guess if I could just ask Gina, this is a clarification of the role of the board. We're purely meant to be looking at the expenditures and the appropriateness of them, not necessarily going to see that, oh, there is a playground there, or, oh, there is a trail there, correct?
That's correct. However, we did have a situation, and I know the county had asked about our master plan, and one of the cities had asked. So the concern was, we don't want to think, oh, this is an eligible expense, especially for those little cities. And then they bring it back to you and it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think this one's kind of gray. So we do have in our rules where if a city has kind of this weird gray thing, then they can bring it up to this board and they can get kind of a pre-look. It's like, hey, we're thinking about doing a parks master plan, so I'll pick on the county because that was our situation. So does the group feel as though that's an eligible wild spaces expenditure? And the group said yes. So they are indeed funding, the county is funding the parks master plan out of our wild spaces funding source.
Okay, so then in effect, if the role of the board was expanded, it wouldn't really be creating, other than having to look at another set of spreadsheets, wouldn't be creating any additional legwork because there isn't any to begin with.
Correct. The only thing I could see where maybe there's this infrastructure project and it's like, do you guys really kind of think this is infrastructure? And then you could say, I don't know. So at least give them a little guidance on the front end so that they don't spend, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And then it's like, nope, that thing was not eligible. So let's go ahead and have like demand for repayment or something like that. And like, again, poor little lacrosse, like we would bankrupt them if we did that to them.
Okay, thanks.
So Gina, it's being discussed to be put on the November ballot.
Yes, that's correct. But we're floating the idea to the board on March 1st. So they're having a meeting at 1:30. And we did some public research. And so we have the company that we were hired. They're going to give a high level overview of what that research resulted in. And then Conservation Lands will kind of talk about, you know, some of the projects they have on the horizon. Our active parks is going to do the same. And then my questions to them were, did we want to share some of our funding with the cities again on partnership projects? And did we want to expand this group's role to include housing and infrastructure? And then the third question was, what do you think of the ballot language? So at the end of the meeting, I'm asking for clarification on those three things.
So as it proceeds, when is final ballot initiative language required? Because I'd like to see that. I think it may be good for this group to see it, to see how kind of vague it is and how, you know, a lot of things could come under be submitted under that. I'd just be curious to have some eyes on that language.
I don't even know 100% what the language is going to be, but whenever the agenda publishes, that correct language will be in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Thank
then-
you.
Yep. So I'll share it with you. And then also, if you have an opinion, like you have time to think about it and that you really do think your role should be expanded or you really think your role should not be expanded, you can always call in and say, I serve on the board and I think you should do this or you should not do this. I think the board would listen to your opinion on that. But heads up, if one of you does call in, none of the others of you can call in because then that'd be a sunshine violation. So I got to put that plug in there.
Yeah, say that again. What's that?
That if, for example, Dorothy, that you call in and
Sure.
you say, I think it's a great idea that, you know, you should expand our role. We can do it. You know, we've got a great group. We can
Sure.
do it. But say Tom thinks it's a terrible idea. He can't then, you know, come back with that. It's like you've already spoken for the group.
You mean any one of us individually speaks for the group?
Correct, because of the fact that you're Sunshine Board. And so you can't have those kind of conversations in a public meeting. So just heads up on that.
Okay.
So did anybody else have public comment or any other business that you would like to share with the group? All right, so assuming we get the City of Gainesville's report and we get answers to all of these questions, I do need a quorum of members physically present for our March 21st meeting so that motions can be made. So I don't need answers right this second, but I'll send y'all an email just asking, you know, if you're able to come downtown and be physically present to vote. So because there's 2 for the county, 2 for the City of Gainesville, and 1 for the smaller cities, I need actually 3 physically present members to constitute a quorum. So that's what I'm looking for if you're able to come down on the 21st. But again, I'll email you so you have time to like check your calendar and see if that works. All right, so last call. All right, well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you
Nice
soon.
meeting you all.
Have a good night.
Good.
Bye.